If they're ripping your clothes off, chances are it's not because they're repulsed by your body. Hi warriors, it's Hannah here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's not frequently discussed and that's a little bit taboo, but that's nevertheless a super important topic. Relationships, intimacy, and how the eating disorder plays into these in multiple ways. Whether that's relationships with family, friends, and also those romantic relationships too. Eating disorders can feel very personal, very isolating, but their ripple effect plays into a whole host of other areas as well. They often impact emotional closeness, communication, and even physical intimacy. This is a topic that's quite close to my heart, both from personal experience, a whole host of it, as well as the work that I do with clients one-on-one. If you're navigating this yourself or supporting someone who's trying to navigate this, you're not alone. Eating disorders always come with a whole lot of baggage, and I'm ready to unpack it today. Stick around and let's talk about some of those signs, the struggles, and importantly, how to navigate them, how to break free. I'll also be going through some questions that I received over on Instagram and over on the Reset and Recover community page. Really? Oh. Not cool. Let's start with how those signs and symptoms that are part and parcel of eating disorders may directly impact relationships. Here are just 4 signs and symptoms to look out for. Be honest with yourself. Are they playing a role in your relationships as well? Feel free to let me know in the comments. First one is food-related secrecy. Lying about food, avoiding meals with others, or even coming up with excuses about certain meal decisions. You may find that you feel more comfortable eating alone, or that you're being untruthful with loved ones. This can create hostility, distrust, isolation. It can also create a whole lot of distance between you. You may find you're being dishonest with your loved ones as well, and this can create an atmosphere of distrust, isolation, tension, and distance, especially when mealtimes are an important time of connection. For example, when visiting family, or your grandma for a home-cooked meal, or if the only quality time you have with your partner is in the evening after a long day of work, and you share dinner together. Maybe you enjoy going out for a drink with friends and feel like, at the moment, that's become a whole lot harder because of the rules of the eating disorder. You may find yourself isolating more, pulling back from these occasions, and avoiding experiences that before will have brought you pleasure and closeness. The problem is, avoiding these situations can get you stuck in a cycle of avoidance. You never face your fears, and therefore stay stuck in that comfort zone, even if it's in no way actually helping you. Another sign, another symptom of the eating disorder, may be weight loss, or at least weight changes or appearance-related concerns. This too can have a massive impact on our relationships, both directly and more indirectly. For example, that focus on food, that focus on restriction, shift our focus from more important things, like connecting with others. We start to become obsessed with food. We stop having the energy for the things we used to have energy for. We're no longer able to be present with others in the same way that maybe we were before. And those body-related concerns, they may make us shy away from others, isolate ourselves, stop being intimate with our partners. Right, my camera is struggling. Look here. In the same vein, the discomfort we experience because of food, because of guilt associated with food, because of the harsh self-talk we impose on ourselves every single day. This can make us more irritable, this can make us more snappy, and just the sheer consequence of not getting enough energy in and feeling constantly quote-unquote hangry does not help with that. Not only do we stop hanging around people as often, we become less fun to hang around, even when we are present. Linked to this is the perfectionism and rigidity that often comes alongside eating disorders. We're less fun to be around, but when we are around others, it needs to fit into our plan for the day. It needs to fit into our strict rules and regulations and routines. This too makes hanging around us a little bit more challenging. We may become less spontaneous, skipping date nights, family events, drinks with friends, because this feels more comfortable. This can feel terribly isolating and almost suffocating to us. But imagine being on the sidelines as well. Imagine being a friend, a carer, a supporter, a partner. Feeling helpless, watching your friend, partner, daughter going through this, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to help, and maybe even doubting your own worthiness. This can lead to a lot of frustration, even anger, and a whole bunch of sadness. And that's not a recipe for positive relationships. The first question that came in was, why do eating disorders make people so irritable? The response, irritability often comes alongside the mental and physical side effects of insufficient fuel. Right, let me play around with my camera settings because this is getting me irritable. When we are starved, when we are constantly stuck on our heads, when we're stuck to rigid routines, it's not that surprising that we're irritable and hangry and that we struggle with low blood sugar and exhaustion and all of these other effects that aren't all that conducive to positive mood and well-being. This then rubs off on others who may be more snappy with us, and down the spiral we go. It's nothing personal, but it can definitely feel that way to our loved ones. That out of the way, let's dive a little more deeply into those intimate partner relationships. There's a lot of overlap, obviously, with the signs and symptoms just discussed, but I think relationships like this bring with them a whole range of other topics that we should probably discuss. The eating disorder obviously impacts intimacy, but it's not just physical intimacy I'm talking about. Sure, eating disorders will impact our hormonal health, which will impact our libido, and the eating disorder will impact our body image, which will impact, well, also our libido and how we approach physical intimacy. But there's also a massive effect on emotional intimacy too. If you're not prioritizing self-care, if you don't consider yourself worthy, if you're too focused on food, too focused on your partner, and if you're consumed by disordered thoughts, well, it can be pretty damn hard to show up emotionally. You may put up some walls. Then there's the whole trust issue. As mentioned before, eating disorders often come alongside a great deal of lying, secrecy, and isolation. This can erode trust over time, and what's more, as a partner looking on from the sidelines, this can be super frustrating, and they may feel super helpless. So a question that came in that was actually related to this was, how can I explain my eating disorder to my partner? And my response is to start with honesty and to start with openness, the exact opposite of what the eating disorder would make you believe. Because it's by being open and honest, even if they don't fully understand, even if you don't fully understand or know what you need, that you create an atmosphere of trust and open communication. You're able to share your needs and they're able to share theirs. You don't need to have all of the answers. You don't need to be fully recovered to have this conversation. Share how you're feeling, how you're doing, what's helping, what's not helping, and how they could possibly support you in taking those next steps. Don't expect them to fully understand. Don't expect them to fully fix things, but talk things through, nevertheless. Don't shut them out. It's okay to learn together, and it communicates that you trust them and can be vulnerable with them and that they can do the same. Where possible, use their support to build up positive routines, to take steps in your recovery. But as I said, don't expect them to cure or fix anything either. That is not their role. Above all, they're your partner, or maybe they're your mum or your sister or your friend. And while they're there to support you, as you would support them, if you need an additional level of support, seek out that professional support too. There's nothing wrong with that. And you could even do that, explore that together. That brings me to some concrete tips, because the good news is this sucks, but you can get out. You can get through. First off, through nutritional rehabilitation. So gaining the weight, starting to eat, starting to fuel properly and get yourself out of that scarcity and starvation mode. But also by prioritizing communication, always, seeking additional professional support, and working through your recovery. So on that first point, communication, that is something I cannot emphasize enough. Be honest with your loved ones, always, even if that feels scary, because secrecy feeds shame, feeds isolation, feeds building up those walls. When you share, on the other hand, that opens up the door to understanding, that opens up the door to support. If secrecy or lying has been an issue, that more open communication can help you break through that and work through that, all while building your own self-compassion too. The better you treat yourself, the better you'll be able to show up in your relationships as well. Equally, don't expect your partners to cure you. Don't expect them to cook all your meals, sit with you through every single challenge, and completely understand what's going on in your mind all of the time. And don't fight them when they don't. Therapists, dietitians, or support groups can be there to additionally help you unpack what is going on without putting that extra weight, without putting that extra pressure on your partner. Recovery does not have to be a solo journey, and in fact, I always recommend working with a professional or seeking out a group to help you feel a little less alone and to navigate those challenges in a more supported way. This is also why I set up Reset and Recover earlier this year, and if you want to benefit from high intensity one-to-one support, group support, regular sessions, the opportunity to ask your questions, share your wins, share your struggles anytime, any day, this group may be for you, and I'll add a link with more info in the description. Another question that came in was how to work through appearance-related worries when getting intimate. Hopefully you're working through those worries before getting intimate. The way we talk about ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves genuinely has a massive impact in how we show up for ourselves and how we show up for others. Changing that narrative can have a massive impact, and that's why there's an entire module dedicated to body image and self-talk and reframing negative thoughts and mindsets and beliefs in the Reset and Recover course part of the community. Anyway, if worries about your appearance when getting intimate are on your mind, if this is something that resonates, that you're struggling with, you're not alone. And in fact, a lot of people, many of whom may not have ever even had an eating disorder, do struggle with this. The thing is, when your partner gets to see you naked, chances are they're not going to get their magnifying glass out. Chances are they're going to be a bit too excited to get to see you naked. The way that you see yourself may be filtered through years of self-criticism, diet culture, and unrealistic expectations. Your partner is probably just a bit more focused on being with you, not on exactly what your body looks like. And if they're ripping your clothes off, chances are it's not because they're repulsed by your body. Honestly, if there's one thing I've learned is that confidence is a whole lot more attractive than any perfect body type. And we don't need to be perfect to be loved. Energy, connection, being fully present, these things are a lot more important than the way your body looks or fits in through those jeans. That said, it's hard. It really is. And if certain things don't feel comfortable for you right now, or if you need to take things slower or take a different approach, let's come back to that communication. Communication is absolutely key, and don't push yourself way beyond the boundaries of your comfort zone here. Maybe gently nudge the boundaries of your comfort zone, but don't just knock them down. And always communicate. Maybe you feel more comfortable wearing a t-shirt right now, or dimming the lights, or whatever it is. Find where you're comfortable, where your partner's comfortable, and keep that communication going. Oh, and If you're still worried after this, go and ask your partner what he or she thinks about being intimate with you. Chances are that's going to provide a massive mindset shift. If not, find yourself a different partner. Related to this question is the whole topic of libido. How to navigate low libido, or how to navigate having a lower libido than your partner. And that too can be pretty tough. As with any question, keep going back to that communication piece and share how you're feeling. Get those frustrations out, get things off of your chest. Remind yourself also that the best way to get your relationship, your libido, your life back is through recovery. So keep that the focus first and foremost. Eat sufficiently, regular meals, take rest, focus on your goals and what you need to do to get there. Because when your hormones are completely out of whack, chances are your libido is going to be completely out of whack. Anyway, if your libido is low, it's not just you. You're not broken. You're not doing anything wrong. And equally, it's not your partner's fault either. It's your body simply responding to stress, restriction, the eating disorder. And that may just take a little bit of time to heal. Time for a bit of cake. As you work on your recovery, instead of forcing yourself into things that you're not comfortable with or that you're not ready for, consider exploring some other forms of closeness and intimacy with your partner as well. Physical touch without pressure, open communication, fun date nights, shared activities. These two are super important. And if right now these feel a little bit more attainable, focus on those and allow that shift to happen more naturally. Don't add to the pressure that's already there. When I entered my first relationship, I found it pretty hard to talk about this stuff. Nowadays, we talk about everything. Anyway, I do remember sharing that I'd had some bad experiences, I had some bad associations, some very ingrained thought patterns that would take a bit of time for me to work through. Thankfully, my partner was very understanding and we were able to talk through and work through those things together. This felt a lot nicer, a lot safer, a lot more supportive than trying to juggle that all on my own. It can be as simple as saying, I want to be close with you. I would love to be intimate with you. But right now, doesn't feel like the right time. My body is adjusting, my body is healing, and I'm breaking long-held associations, and that takes time. This isn't about my feelings for you. You're doing nothing wrong. But these are the ways you can support me, and I just may need to take things at my own pace. It's about communication, gentle nudges, and working through this in a partnership. I want to share a little bit more about my own journey, because I know that people often shy away from this stuff, which is precisely why we shouldn't, to break through those taboos. As I mentioned, during the time of my own eating disorder, I shied away from people. I became very emotionally distant, and it definitely hurt a lot of people that I was close with. A lot of people that I definitely didn't want to hurt. The eating disorder just felt stronger, more important. I felt ashamed, guilty, stuck in my own head, and my relationships were super duper strained. This definitely shifted during my recovery, when I returned to my normal bubbly self, when I became more outgoing, when I had greater mind space. But some of these things did linger and did take a longer time to normalize, especially more intimate relationships for me. I still pushed people away, I suppose trying to protect myself. But at the same time, I gravitated somewhat to people who gave me the love that I thought I deserved, which wasn't the best kind of love. This can become its own vicious cycle as you reinforce those beliefs that you're already holding. And it's so important to come to a place where you accept yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, so that you can allow others in, and so that you can allow others to do the same. Building a house on solid foundations. So yeah, there was still some work to be done, but you don't have to do this alone. Anyway, enough about me. Time for some more questions. How to handle meals and meal timings with partners. Again, through communication, through, to some extent, compromise as well. You don't want to be knocking down your entire comfort zone all at once. But it can be a helpful way to step outside your comfort zone and challenge the eating disorder. So, communicate your needs with your partner. Define those needs for yourself. And set your own boundaries. See if and how your partner can support you in those things. Your partner, or it might be your mum or your friend or your sister, they might not fully understand. And that's another question that came up, another fear that is often voiced. But even if they don't fully understand, if you can communicate why it's helping you, how it's helping you, what they can do, a lot of the time they'll be happy to do it. They want to see you happy and healthy and thriving. They're there for you. So use that pillar. Use them as your rock. Whether that means having those meals together, splitting up the meal prep, having them serve up for you, sit with you during challenge meals, whatever you need in your journey, define that, communicate, come up with a plan as a partnership. And remember also, their needs may differ from yours. You may need to eat more frequently, you may need to eat more, you may need to eat differently, and that's okay. Keep connecting with your recovery goals and with the steps that you need to take to get there. Eating like your partner, exercising like your partner, preparing meals in the same way your partner does might not actually mean you're tuning into your own body and your own needs, and might not get you to where you want to and deserve to be. So keep bringing your own goals to mind. Keep focusing on those. I also got a question from a supporting partner. How can I support my partner when they're struggling? How can I support my friend or daughter or nephew? And the answer comes back to communication. You can't read their minds, so don't assume that you know what they need. Ask them, how can I best support you? What is helping you? What's maybe not helping you? You are not there to fix their issues. You're there to listen to them and support them in whichever way possible, while also looking after your own well-being. You can't be supporting others when you're not looking after yourself too. Anyway, I would say that knowing someone's there that I can open up to, that is invaluable. But you're not their therapist. You're not their dietitian. You're not their mum. You're not their cook. You're not their carer. Always stay their partner, their support pillar. Stay you. There were several more questions, but I think a lot of them came down to those same topics, so I feel like I have covered most, if not all of them. If you feel like there are still questions left unanswered, do let me know in the comments. I'll respond to them when my camera's not acting up. And yeah, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, let me know what insights stuck with you most in the comments. Share your experiences in the comments. Give this a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, if you feel like you need a little bit more support, if you want to dive a little more deeply, the Reset and Recover community is there for you. I'm always happy to hop onto a short free call to discuss. No strings attached, no obligations, just a chat, just a way to connect when connection is so important. Anyway, my camera's been acting up loads, so filming this has taken a long time. I've got a dessert to get through before I've got an appointment, so yeah. See you all soon for another video. Extra peanut butter for those hormone supporting benefits of healthy fats. And lots of chocolate.